Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below.
Welcome everyone to the 4th generation Hyundai Santa Fe. The Santa Fe has gone through a thorough regeneration with an all-new look and a new design philosophy that kind of restructures Hyundai's SUV lineup. More on that later in the video. But with this car here that you see in front of me, this is the luxury trim with the 2-litre turbocharged engine, all-wheel drive, and a few pieces of equipment that we haven't seen previously in a Hyundai product. And this video would not be possible without the help of the Dilawri Group, specifically the Hyundai Gallery that have lent this car out to me for a few days. If you're looking for a new vehicle, be sure to check out their dealership in the southeast of Calgary. So without further ado, let's go for a drive. With this all-new 4th generation of the Santa Fe, there has been some quite significant restructuring with this vehicle and the upcoming models in Hyundai's SUV lineup. So the outgoing version of this Santa Fe either came as the Sport model, which was a 5-seater, or the XL, which was a 7-seater. How Hyundai is setting up their SUV range in the future is the mid-size Santa Fe, what you see here in front of me, is only going to be available as a 5-seater, and the upcoming Palisade, which should be in dealerships in a few months' time, is the new 7-seater version. More appropriately sized if you are carrying 7 people very frequently. I appreciate how it's just the Santa Fe and there's no confusion by using the word sport, not to characterize its driving dynamics, but just to say that it was the smaller packaged vehicle. So the 4th generation in Canada comes in 4 different trim levels. The most basic version comes with a 2.4 litre 4-cylinder engine with 185 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. On that base model, all-wheel drive and the safety equipment can be optional extras. So the things that people are really attracted to, all-wheel drive, of course this is a mid-size SUV, a lot of buyers are probably going to want that feature, and then the safety tech like the forward collision warning, lane keeping assist, and radar assisted cruise control has the ability to be in that base model. Some other things to note with that base model: you'll have a standard heated steering wheel and heated front seats with a 7-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration. That is something that Canadian buyers are immediately going to be attracted to. Now when you go further up into the range, all-wheel drive is included. It isn't an optional extra, a box you can tick, but it can still come with the 2.4 litre engine or the 2-litre turbocharged engine that I have in this vehicle. This has 235 horsepower with 260 pound-feet of torque, and it's got a reasonable amount of punch to it. I think that what hinders this car slightly though is its 8-speed automatic transmission. In a few circumstances of going up a hill or just cruising along the highway, the gears seem to be held longer than they should be. The car doesn't downshift as fast for my liking. You can go into a manual shifting mode as well, but it has its idea of how the gears should be shifted, and as much input that you can put towards it doesn't really contribute to much negotiation with this car. Other things that are in this vehicle: I have heated and ventilated front seats. The rear outside seats are heated. One of my absolute favorite features on Hyundai and Kia vehicles is the smart opening tailgate. So with quite a few vehicles on the market, you have that kick to open system where you'll wave your foot underneath the bumper and then it will eventually open up. But I've encountered more than a few issues with this system, as maybe snow's packed underneath or you just have a hard time finding that sensor, it won't engage. So what Hyundai does is, if you have the key on you, you just need to stand just very close to the trunk for a couple seconds. You'll hear the car beep and then it'll open by itself. This is a much more successful implementation of the hands-free opening tailgate, and I absolutely adore it. A few other notable things: dual zone climate control, a 360 camera system, and leather seats in this model are available in the luxury. If you go one further up to the ultimate, some additional things that you'll get are the 8-inch touchscreen, a wireless phone charger, a heads-up display unit, and LED lights all the way around. But in my opinion, this second best trim, this luxury, might be the pick of the litter. It has more than enough technology, the reasonable price point, and has the more powerful engine with all-wheel drive. A 7-inch digital instrument cluster with some analog gauges on the left and the right-hand side of it. It isn't as customizable or as dynamic as other cars in this segment, but you have two different screen setups here. I prefer this one. As you can see, the tack needle, it kind of has this glowing animation behind the needle as you pick up speed, and highlights the speed as the tack needle passes it. So you'll have 3 driving modes with the Santa Fe. You'll start off in comfort and then go to sport and then smart. All of these have an effect on the driving characteristics as you would expect, but with the smart mode, it's actually the eco mode. And how this changes around the dynamics of the car is holding on the gears a little longer, numbing that throttle pedal a little bit, but you can actually change the amount of power that is going to the front or rear wheels. So in sport mode, it's trying to split it even 50-50. When it's comfort, it's more sort of around the 60-40, 70-30, that kind of range. And then when it goes down to smart, it's trying to do 80-20, 90-10 to the front wheels, help improve fuel efficiency. So how does the Santa Fe handle? What is it like to drive? Well, like the Kona I was just in, I think this has a wonderful weighting to it, and whenever you're flinging it through a corner, if you're going at a little higher speeds, it's very stable. You can feel the weight kind of transferring to whatever side you're turning, but it doesn't feel like the car has a lot of body roll. It's a very stable ride. It isn't impervious to the bumps and the cracks in the road that some other cars in this segment might be, but it's in no way intolerable or uncomfortable. I wouldn't go so far to say this is a sporty feeling car, but it at least gives you some connection to the road surfaces on which you're driving on. Oh, another thing that I forgot when it comes to the driving modes is that if you want to, you can lock all-wheel drive with just a button down here, and then additionally you do have a hill descent control button down here by your shifter. With the new Santa Fe, it shows off a slightly different direction for the brand's interior design. You see we've got kind of a elevated dashboard here where this wraparound graphic comes into the center to lead back into the touchscreen. Kind of reminds me of some Jaguar products. All of the buttons are laid out very logically and simply, as they are in every other Hyundai vehicle, and there's some nice soft touch plastics up here and leather where you rest your arms, but you can still find plenty of hard touch plastics down here, kind of where you rest your legs. I should mention though, there is a little bit of padding down here a little further, but for my kind of height, it's kind of taking care of my calves rather than my knees that are bashing up against the harder plastic here. Overall, I like the interior space. Touchscreen is excellent. You've got plenty of storage down here and inside of the center console. And a touch that I'm really growing to appreciate is this fabric headliner. I'm not exactly sure what the material is. It's padded nicely and actually quite a beautiful thing to behold. And then following with the headliner, you can see the massive panoramic sunroof that is in this car. Wonderful to have here in the front seats, and rear passengers really appreciate it as well. Of course, it has a cover so you can hide it away, and in this model there's actually manual sunshades within the door. Then when it comes to the rear seats, as it is a mid-size SUV, I feel very comfortable in those back seats. There isn't much going for changing around your vent controls or temperature settings at all back there. You have some stretchy pockets behind the front seat, and then if you want to slide those seats forwards and backwards, you just simply grab a bar underneath and then recline slightly as well if you want to. Appropriately, the trunk is massive for this size of vehicle, and it has a false floor so you can lift that up for some hidden storage. And don't fret that there isn't a spare wheel in this space. It's actually mounted to the underside of the car. The look of a car, the color of a car, if you like it or not, is a very subjective thing. But this is the first car I've come across that has the 3-tiered lighting system that I think is a really good looking car. The central component of where your indicators are, the high and low beams, because it takes the space of where many people would put fake vents in a car, you kind of forget that it's there. And with the daytime running light elements, adds a sinister vibe to this Santa Fe. With the silver elements that you see on top of the grille and the door surrounds and little pieces around the back, if you get certain colors in the Santa Fe, those can actually be a dark chrome. For the new Santa Fe, I like the direction of this midsize SUV, planting itself strictly as a 5-seater and making space for the upcoming 7-seater Palisade has really done virtue to have this car with perhaps a little more focus than what it did previously. For tall passengers, it will be wonderfully accommodating, and I personally love the look of this car. So when it comes to shopping against other mid-size SUVs, I think that this is a car that you should seriously consider owning. And thanks again, have to go out to Hyundai Gallery, part of the Gallery group that were able to give this car to me for a couple days so I could review it. So that's been everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video here on Motormouth. My name is Max Landy. Thanks for watching.
Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below.